Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Hard Days, a Japanese thriller from 2023 that stars Junichi Okada and Go Ayano. It is a remake of the Korean film A Hard Day from 2014, which starred the late, great Lee Sun-kyun. The plot synopsis for both films is essentially the same. A corrupt detective, this time played by Junichi Okada, whose mother is severely ill, drives away when she's on her deathbed, having been informed that his squad is being investigated by internal affairs for bribery. He crashes into a man who wanders onto the road, killing him. Fearing manslaughter charges because he's intoxicated at the time, he declines to call the police and hides the body from a passing patrol car. Now, with the body in the trunk, he tries to find a way to cover up the hit-and-run accident from his own police department, who are investigating the accident as well. And on top of all that, he's dealing with family drama from the funeral. There's a lot on this dude's plate. Now, when thinking about how I was going to review this film, it just made sense to mix in some comparisons with the Korean film. I will avoid spoilers, as usual, for both films. But generally speaking, Hard Days is, similar in how it plays out when compared to A Hard Day. We have a man who is constantly trying to cover his tracks from authorities. All the while, everything is continuing to become more dangerous because of threats that are lurking in the background. But I do give this Japanese remake credit. They do mix things up enough. It's not the exact same film. There are some little changes, like adding a downpouring rainstorm to the opening scene to give additional justification for our protagonist hitting a man with his car. The DWI stop sequence is a different resolution as well. And we do get the classic funeral home scene, but it's more condensed here. On the other hand, there are some significant changes as well. The Japanese version features one of the most stressful wedding scenes you'll ever see, which is not a scene that's in the original at all, and it adds some multidimensionality to Go Ayano's character. He's very unhinged, but shown as vulnerable and disrespected when around his superior. And then there's a solid final fight to the death, of course, but it's structured very differently from the Korean film. And the very end, the final shot of the film is nuts. So, were all of these changes improvements? No, I don't think they were, but that's okay. When talking about remakes, I feel like they need to provide some kind of entertainment value on their own, right? They can't, doing a duplicate copy, usually you just, why even bother? And veering too far away, it just makes it weird too. So even though I do think the original Korean film is superior to this remake, I still think this is a pretty good flick. For a few reasons, which I'll get into in a minute. But it is, I would say, an entertaining thriller, even if you watch it immediately after the original, which is what I did here. So, what is limiting Hard Days, from being awesome? Well, to take an easy way out, it's the execution, just generally speaking. Lee Sun-kyun, when I was rewatching the Korean film, just gave an outstanding performance in that movie. Just awesome. It's almost an unfair comparison. And trust me when I say that I love Junichi Okada. I love the guy. He's one of my personal favorite actors from Japan. And he does a good job here overall. But the thing is, he chooses to play his character in a more outwardly timid fashion. And he's very, squirrely, and he gets flustered more easily. It works for his character, but it lacks, the blackly humorous vibe that Lee nailed so well. I laughed a lot more in the Korean version of this movie, and it was Lee's performance that kind of anchored that whole thing down. The odd thing, though, is that Okada has a very impressive comedy resume as well. He's a pretty funny guy. He's hilarious in some movies, but the fact is that Hard Days is missing some of those effectively executed, laugh-out-loud, blackly humorous moments that the original had. So, when you're watching the original film, you just start laughing. You're just shaking your head this is so ridiculous. But this remake doesn't quite hit the same way. That's the best I could describe it. The runtime is also a little bit longer, not a lot longer, but a little bit, and the pacing is slightly slower in spots. But I will say this, I enjoyed Hard Days. If you like movies that are like, suspense style type thrillers where someone makes a mistake and has to cover their tracks constantly to try to not get caught, all the while avoiding I guess murderous dangers that come after them eventually, it's good. I do enjoy it. But if you have not seen the original film, watch that first, because A Hard Day from 2014 is pretty awesome. Now, the Korean version is available on Fandango at Home. I've never used that website. There's a streaming site for everyone now. So I don't even know how that works on Fandango, but it is also available on physical media. And then this remake is available on Netflix, which is far easier to get to. So let me know what you think. Is there some people out there that actually prefer the Japanese version? I'm kind of interested in knowing. So as always, folks, I'll see you next time.